with Serena Winters. Now, here's the deal. I was, let's see. I was watching the Sixers last night. I stayed up to watch the Sixers last night because I hate myself. And it was not good. It was pretty bad, actually, watching the Sixers last night. So much so that Tyrese Maxey guy, he didn't even play in the fourth quarter. Doc Rivers just kind of sat the majority of his starters late in that game. It was that bad. So, instead of going into great detail about that game in particular, I'm going to start off with something that was great last night. I'm going to start out with something that was very positive last night. And we got Eagles conversation to get into, of course, and we're going to get there as well. But the Philadelphia Flyers pulled out one hell of a win last night, a 2-1 victory over the Calgary Flames and South Jersey's own Johnny Gaudreau. And the guy that stole the show, we'll go Carter Hart, right? 33 saves. Carter Hart stole the show. Not so fast. The guy that stole the show last night was Kevin Hayes. Second game of the season, nets his first goal. And there was something about the goal that was wildly special. And the thing that most people know, even waking up this morning, is that Kevin Hayes scored that goal, pointed to the sky for his late brother, Jimmy, who had obviously passed away. And he points to the sky, taps his heart, and it's a very emotional moment. You can see how emotional it was for a lot of the Flyers. Cam Atkinson as well came right over to Kevin Hayes to hug him, and it was just a beautiful moment, and the Flyers were able to tie the game at 1 with that goal in the second period. And then I was reading, and I didn't know this, but apparently, and this is from the new writer from the Inquirer, Gianna, I believe her name is. She pointed this out on social media. I didn't know this. Cam Atkinson was Kevin Hayes' brother Jimmy's. So Cam was Jimmy's roommate, apparently, in college. How incredible is that? And Cam Atkinson had the game winner in overtime for the Flyers' 2-1 victory last night. But the thing that was really amazing, one of the other things that was so amazing and so special about Kevin Hayes' goal was that it just looked like it was meant to be. He was trying to put the puck across the ice for someone else to get an opportunity on it for the goal. And it ended up, I want to make sure I get this guy's name, Rasmus Andersson of the Flames actually goes down to block the pass. And Kevin Hayes is standing maybe 2 strides up, if that, from the goal line. And the puck goes right back to Kevin Hayes' stick, and he buries it in the back of the net for the game-tying goal and his first goal back, and points to the skies for his brother. It was a pretty amazing moment last night in the Flyers game for that reason. The other thing in this game in particular that was so incredible was Carter Hart's performance in the net last night. Like I said, 33 saves. He had a slew of great saves, 3 of them in particular on Johnny Gaudreau. First period, takes it right in the logo from Johnny Gaudreau, who was in the right circle, goaltender's right circle. He fired at Carter Hart. Carter Hart was able to smother it, taking it right there in the logo. Then in the second period, he has an incredible glove save on Johnny Gaudreau. Third period, slides post to post as Johnny Gaudreau is trying to do a wraparound Carter Hart. Not so fast, and sticks the pad out there and was able to make the save. Incredible performance last night from Carter Hart. Great job by Kevin Hayes getting his first goal of the season and for all the meaning behind it, and Cam Atkinson to get the game winner. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, our first post-game clip of the Flyers season, as they got a nice little victory last night. Here are Cam Atkinson and Kevin Hayes. Kevin Hayes on his goal and Cam Atkinson on Kevin Hayes' goal as well. Listen to this.
Can you talk about your goal and what it meant, so you point to the sky?
Yeah, it went to Risto. He made a good play. Passed it down to me. I tried to go over to Joel twice, and it ended up in the back of the net.
What did it mean to score, knowing, your second game back, first game back here in Philly? You know what the fans in Philly, you've talked about how much the fans in Philly have meant to you, and then the point of the sky for your brother.
Yeah, I'm happy it happened sooner rather than later, honestly. Yeah, I mean, it's It was a big goal. Got the puck. Trainers got the puck for me. I'm going to give it to Jimmy's kid and Jimmy's son, Bo. And, yeah, I mean, it'll be one I'll remember for forever.
Cam, as close as you are to Kevin, what did it mean just from your standpoint to see him find a little bit of sunshine tonight?
Yeah, it's. I think you could see it on my face. You know, I think everything happens for a reason, and I was the first guy to hug him. Got the puck for Kev, and you know, it's a big goal, not only for our team, obviously, but for Kev. And like you said, I think we'll all remember this for a long, long time, and yeah, it was special.
For the Flyers, just fantastic. Pretty awesome. So Flyers get the 2-1 victory. And also after the game, Alain Vigneault during his press conference, because it was alumni weekend, you saw, or weekend, it's Phillies. It was alumni night for the Flyers. You saw Rick Tocchet, and you saw Paul Holmgren go into the Hall of Fame. I still can't get over the fact that Paul Holmgren, like, it's already like, oh wow, Rick Tocchet hasn't even been in yet, and that's wild. And then Paul Holmgren hasn't been in yet. What? They go in last night, and Alain Vigneault said after the game it was important to him and to the team to show the alumni how hard they were willing to play, just like they did back in their day. So that was pretty amazing as well. So Flyers get the 2-1 victory. Absolutely love that. Let's get into this for a second before we talk to our friend Serena Winters about this. So the final score of the Sixers Jazz game last night, 120-85. Now, on a personal note, I bet Tyrese Maxey again to hit his over. And he got his over was 17.5. That was his line. So he finished with 16 points. It didn't play the fourth quarter. Thanks, Doc. Appreciate that, brother. But it was a rough game by all accounts. And you got the feeling in the first quarter that the Utah Jazz were just gonna toy with you. Rudy Gobert just was dominant. Had 4 blocks in the first half of this game, and it just was toying with Tyrese Maxey. He got a shot on him. Andre Drummond got a shot on him. In terms of blocking their shots, that is. Sorry. I believe Tobias Harris had another one that was blocked on him. It was a really rough night for the Sixers. But here's what I'm not gonna do. I'm not going to do the completely freak out thing. I'm okay if you're okay, because that's okay kind of thing. I feel fine. I really do. I've told you many times the NBA season doesn't really even start until the new year. And that's really all that really matters. Christmas Day, people can look at and say, oh, come on, it's a huge game and all that stuff. And I'm fine. I'm fine. They still got to work out this whole Ben Simmons thing. Like, I have joked about the Eagles looking at this season as if it were 20 preseason games. Now they've turned a little bit of a corner here. At least I feel they've turned a little bit of a corner in terms of they're really trying to win these games now. It's not just about the draft anymore, which is certainly the feeling I got earlier in this season. Now throw everything at Jalen Hurts, make him the focal point of the offense, and then see if he's good enough to be the franchise quarterback going forward. All right, let's back off that a little bit. You have Brandon Brooks go down first game of the season. They instead of Nate Herbig going out there, they have Landon Dickerson go out there. It's like, you wouldn't go with the guy with more experience? Okay, I guess. And they continue to look like a team that is simply auditioning players for the future and not for right now. They're auditioning a head coach for the future and not for right now. A defensive coordinator for the future and not right now. Well, maybe they're actually trying to win now. So maybe that whole preseason shtick is over, fortunately. Well, I look at the Sixers team and I look at this first half, really, the 2021 version of this year, and I say, all right, you all have Ben Simmons. That situation is that situation. You don't even have the return on the investment of Ben Simmons yet for a trade or anything like that. You have COVID, you got injuries, you got all this going on right now with this team, including an MVP candidate, runner-up in the MVP race last year, Joel Embiid. We all know how good he is. And then you're also missing a guy that was second-team all-defense, and that was Matisse Thybulle. So it's going to be a minute before this team really starts to hit some kind of a stride. Now what? 4 straight losses? That's not a good look. But I think we all know why the losses are piling up right now. And if they're going to struggle, It's probably best that they're doing this on the West Coast trip where a lot of people aren't staying up to watch these particular games except me, who's betting Tyrese Maxey's over, and he's not getting it. So that's on me. I take 100% of that responsibility. But it was just a rough one last night. A lot of guys struggling. Seth Curry had one of his most struggle-filled performances with the Sixers. I don't think he got a point until the second half of this game. He and Tobias Harris will be going into opening the third quarter, or in the first half, where something crazy like 0 for 5 from 3, 0 for 7 for 3. They just weren't able to get anything done last night. Doc Rivers, you could sense his frustration. By the fourth quarter, it was just all backups. Paul Reed finally got into the game. Bassie was in the game for a large amount of time. I don't know how many minutes he played, but he was in there for a while. So it was not the best Sixers game to watch last night, and you certainly saw them struggling. And I think the Sixers are at a point right now where they just want to throw their hands up in the air and say, all right, we're going to wait till we get our guys back. We were already waiting to see what was going to happen with Ben Simmons, and now we're in a spot to say, all right, Tyrese Maxey, we know what we can get out of you. Tobias Harris, we're pretty sure we know what we can get out of you. But until those other guys come back, we're just going to try to do whatever it is we can to just stay in games. That's the way at least it looked last night. It was not pretty. It was not pretty for the 76ers. We'll get into that a little bit more with Serena Winters when she joins the show coming up in just a second on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. Something else I wanted to get into today. Jonathan Gannon has become a hot button issue for this city, and rightfully so. He's the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, and we love defense in this city. A couple of weeks ago, they were asked about getting the home crowd into it. Haven't won at home, haven't gotten a sack at home yet. And they asked Jason Kelce about it, and Jason Kelce came right out and said, oh, well, this is a defensive city. They love it when the defense is after it. They love it when the defense is aggressive. Go ahead and be aggressive against Trevor Siemian there, Jonathan Gannon. See how you'll hold up against Trevor Siemian. Be aggressive against Trevor Siemian. We'll see how Alvin Kamara is doing. Alvin Kamara, excuse me. Well, how he's doing with his knee injury for this coming weekend and all that. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that the defense will again be aggressive. One of the things that Gannon got into yesterday was how happy he was that guys like TJ Edwards and other guys on his defense were playing a very aggressive style of football. And it all starts with the defensive coordinator. And my man John McMullen tried to point that out to Jonathan Gannon, at least saying that TJ Edwards seemed to be the leader in the clubhouse when it came to overall aggression in the game against the Broncos. And JG, which I'll call him after a nice performance like that, JG was quick to point out a lot of other guys that were very aggressive on the defensive side of things against the Broncos.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys play very physical, TJ being one of them. But I thought our entire unit really had a stinger, edge, whatever you want to call it. I felt like we did a good job of out-hitting them. And we played hard, and that was one of the challenges to our guys hey, we need to play harder than this team, which it always is, but I think that they kind of rallied around, hey, we're going to outplay this team, and I think we did that.
That's all you got to do. That's all we're asking for. Let's be aggressive. That's it. If you're aggressive, the fans will love you. You get home, fans will adore you forever. And that's more or less what the Eagles were able to do against the Broncos. I use this term all the time. Cut and paste. Cut that out from the Broncos game, paste it into this Saints game, and you'll have a lot of the same successes that you had in this Broncos game. The only difference is you're not looking at an offensive line that's missing their 2 starting tackles. So they a little bit of leeway there when it came to how you played against the Broncos. The same type of mentality here, getting to that first and goal situation from the 9-yard line and rush the quarterback like he did with 6 rushers against the Broncos, Trevor Siemian's head's going to be spinning. So that's what I want to see again from Jonathan Gannon. And I can't remember a time where I listened to so many people in a press conference ask about linebackers like Davion Taylor, TJ Edwards, Alex Singleton, guys like that coming along as linebackers for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think you finally have 2 guys in TJ Edwards and Davion Taylor that are looking to blow things up in the backfield. So maybe you actually have 2 guys that can step up consistently and fill some gaps. Look, we watched the offense come along over the last 3 games, and hopefully they continue that rise in this game against the Saints. I'm hoping for the same thing, defensively speaking, with guys like TJ Edwards, guys like Davion Taylor. I know other guys on this defense can do it. I'm not worried about Darius Slay. I'm not worried about Avonte Maddox. I'm not worried about Steven Nelson, who I think is a solid corner for this team. But when it comes to the aggression, that's where I'm looking at the linebackers. That's where I'm looking at the defensive line. Javon Hargrave, they talked a lot about how he was double teamed a good amount in this game, and how Fletcher Cox was more aggressive, was able to be more aggressive because it was more of Javon Hargrave getting the double teams in this particular game. Let's see if that happens going forward. And that's what I'll be crossing my fingers for, as I'm sure you all will, because if this team is going to continue to win this season, if they are going to eke out any late December meaningful games, I think they're already going to be playing meaningful games in December, but if they're going to be playing meaningful games in the second half, let's just see here. In the second half of December, you got your bye week after December 5th. So then you got either the 8th. I love how it's either the 18th or the 19th of December. Washington, you're hosting them. Then the day after Christmas, host the Giants. Then January 2nd at Washington. January 9th, rounded out against Dallas. Very, very possible that the Eagles make the playoffs. They're in contention. They're going to give you meaningful games in December/January. We'll just see if it comes to fruition. Playoff contention isn't something I thought I'd be talking about 3 weeks ago. And yet, here we are. One last thing, and I know this is on a lot of people's mind. Derek Barnett, who we discussed a lot on Monday. He ain't going anywhere, folks. And as you would assume, Jonathan Gannon was asked about Derek Barnett. Jeff McClain of Inquirer.com asked him about Derek Barnett. And where do you go with Derek Barnett at this point? What do you say to Derek Barnett at this point? Another penalty, more than one. What do you say to a guy that just can't help himself when it comes to penalties? The most egregious of the acts was the roughing the passer. And here's Jonathan Gannon on what he is saying to his defensive end.
Just keep improving it. Just keep working on your game. It's got to be on his mind, which it is. And love how DB played this last game. I know he had some production, but this guy, I mean, he's playing winning football for us. So, the pre-snap stuff, we got to continue to, practice that stuff and put him in those positions in practice, which helps. And then, the other one that he got, kind of a bang, and, sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't, and we got to keep educating our players why that penalty was called over and over and over. Say it again, Jeff.
You know why it was called?
Yeah, we actually asked for some clarity from the NFL on that. Did he lead with his crown or did he fall on him with the body weight? So I actually haven't heard back on that. But, they're always going to protect the quarterbacks. And you saw one where the 1 3rd down where Alex and Milton hit him later in the game. I think that was in the fourth quarter. And Milton did a good job of, instead of landing on him, which that's hard, guys. Like, they're going full speed, full tilt, and they're hitting a guy, and it's bang, bang, and then all of a sudden, oh, by the way, as you're falling to the ground on top of this guy, pull off the guy. But those are the rules. So we have to enforce that and continue to educate our players and talk to them about that. Hey, you can't land on a guy. That's a tough rule for pressure players, whoever's hitting the quarterback, to, hey, as you're going to the ground, pull off. But those are the rules, and we gotta do a good job with that.
Defense is hard, is what he's saying. And they always change the rules for the offensive anyway, especially the quarterback. Like, think about this. You can't tackle a quarterback the way you tackle everybody else. It really is. It's a wild thing. And he's right in that you all of a sudden have to change your mindset while you're trying to be as aggressive as humanly possible. Milton Williams, Alex Singleton trying to get into the backfield to hit Teddy Bridgewater in this particular game. And they got to stop and think, let me make sure I roll off him. I can't put all my weight on him, even though that's the whole point of the sport. But I digress. You know what I need? I need to talk to Serena Winters. That's what I need. And I'll do that in just a second. But let me tell you right now about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. That's what you call a transition, folks. Head to the other corner of 8th and Walnut or IHateStevenSinger.com. This man is just absolutely incredible, especially when it comes to holiday shopping. I hate Steven Singer. With all the shipping delays and fulfillment issues expected for the holidays, Christmas shopping has come earlier than ever. And luckily for you, Steven Singer is giving every other jeweler out there another reason to hate him. Steven Singer Jewelers is the number one gift this holiday season, diamond stud earrings. And Steven is fully stocked with the most beautiful, best value, real diamond stud earrings anywhere. Choose a great pair of Anita diamond studs for just $270, just under $279. If that sounds familiar, that's because it was the same price as last year. It's absolutely incredible what this man does. Perfect price every single time. No sales, no discounts, no BS. Steven's real diamond studs, flawless to the eye, near colorless, and come with his famous full value lifetime trade-in guarantee. You can trade up your diamond studs anytime, anywhere, and receive exactly what you paid towards a new pair. How incredible is that? All this unbeatable full day, 100-day, 100% money-back guarantee, making a no-risk shopping for you for the holiday. Go down to IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. One place, one price. Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, or at IHateStevenSinger.com. Ladies and gentlemen, Serena Winters is just an awesome human. She's fantastic, and I always enjoy catching up with her. Always enjoyed seeing her when we were working at NBC at the same time, and I'm so happy that she is back on the Sixers beat, so to speak, with this new Locked In podcast. She'll tell you all about it right here as she joins us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. And joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just right to the introduction. One of my favorite people on the planet. Serena Winters joins us right here, host of the Locked On Sixers podcast. It's absolutely incredible. Serena, first off, welcome back to the Sixers community and covering the Sixers, and it's just so damn good to see you. How are you?
Marzetta, it is so good to see you. I mean, as you know, covering Philly sports, you just miss it, right? It's like you love serving the fans because they love it so much. And so for me, it's just, that's what I like to do. That's what I like to do. So it's easy for me. But it's so good to hear your voice. I mean, you have a unique one, right? And so you're laughing at that.
I do.
So it's good to hear you.
Thank you so much. I saw this come across just last week, and here I am. I'm like, oh my God, Serena, this is amazing.
Yes.
You announced the personal news. There's the tweet right there. Whole video attached to it. People can check you out 5 days a week, talking Sixers, Locked On Sixers, Locked On 76ers podcast, and people can enjoy your commentary on the Sixers yet again. How did all this come together? You know, you have to be thrilled to be talking Sixers basketball again.
I just miss the Sixers fans. I mean, to be honest with you, I loved talking Sixers basketball, and I wasn't doing that on a daily basis anymore. I was still watching all of the games, still keeping in touch with all of my colleagues that cover the Sixers, still keeping in touch with my friends over at the Sixers. You know, I still have the same sources, all of that. So for me, it just came together with someone reached out and I said, why not? You know, why not talk about the Sixers all day, every day, 5 days a week? That's 30 minutes and a lot of my voice, Marc Farzy. A lot of my voice.
If there's anything about you and I, it's that we're obviously just complete narcissists and just love ourselves.
Seriously. Except I will say, like, I'm looking at the clock and I got to make sure that I'm done by the 30-minute mark because I can't stand hearing myself talk anymore. I'm just thankful that I have listeners that actually want to listen to what I have to say because halfway through, sometimes I'm just like, come on. I got to have a guest on here because I can't take the sound of my own voice, you know?
Well, you know, yeah, I believe you. I can relate. When it comes to, because you've already done your first handful of shows, which have been great.
Yes.
I caught some of them. They're fantastic. How are you enjoying that interaction and you know, getting the feedback from fans and everything?
It's so much fun. I think my favorite part is I can't believe how much interaction that I'm getting from listeners who will, especially on Instagram, you know, I'll put something up, whether it's something for a mailbag or ask a question, and hundreds of people respond wanting to know something. And for me, that part of it is the part that's most fun. Like there's some things in the show that I've talked about that I wouldn't have necessarily talked about had a fan not asked. Someone had asked a great question to me of, you know, realistically, as an example, what does realistically for a timeline of a Ben Simmons trade, like what does that look like? And so then I went in and broke down the numbers of, well, this is what happens December 15th. There's only this amount of guys that are available to be traded. Then you've got January 15th, this amount of guys. You have guys in the Sixers roster that can't be traded until X date and X date, stuff that listeners asked about. And then I was able to, talk to the fans about, and it ended up being something people were really interested in. So to me, that's the fun part, is that you have the control over what the content is. So I can reach out and ask Sixers fans what they want to know and try to find out those answers for them.
That's awesome. It's funny. I wasn't even going to start with Simmons. I know everyone wants us to start Simmons, but start with that conversation. I was going to ask you about Tyrese Maxey. I'll leave it up to you. A guest choice. You want to talk about Maxey first, or do you want to talk about that whole Ben Simmons fiasco?
Oh, come on. Let's talk Maxey, because the best part about the Ben Simmons fiasco is what we've seen with Tyrese Maxey, right?
True.
I mean, we would not be seeing this growth with Tyrese if this hadn't been going on with Ben. And it's actually fascinating, Marc, because I don't know if everybody knows, but Tyrese Maxey and Ben Simmons, they have the same agent, right? They both are represented by Rich Paul. So it's really interesting that although you have this with Ben Simmons going on, you've still got a Rich Paul client playing for the Sixers and playing his butt off. I mean, it's just so much fun to watch. This kid, man, I mean, over 17 points a game right now, over 4 assists. And for me, it's also, he's not turning the ball over like I would expect for such a young guy. But more than anything else, how much fun is it to watch him out there? And I think that that's why, look, Sixers fans to me are easy to please. You work hard. You put your heart on the floor, and they're going to love you. And that's what you see with Maxey out there. There are so many guys in this league that shy away from contact. We know those guys. Players in the league know those guys. They have that on the scouting report. Maxey is the opposite of one of those guys. It's like he is a magnet to the contact, and he is just not scared of anything out there. And he has so much room to grow. I mean, I am talking about him like this, and he can still be so much better. Defensively, we've seen some defensive lapses from him, whether that's reads, whether that's just scouting report stuff, miscommunications. But again, that goes back to his age and his youth. And right now he's offensively, he's so fun to watch, and he's always obviously on the ball. But if the Sixers, if there's a trade and we see Maxey playing more off ball as an example, then we'll get to see him maybe be better at catch and shoot, right? Whereas right now he's always got the ball in his hand. So I say all that with, there's still so much room for him to grow. And he has been, for me, the bright spot of the season, and really the bright spot of the Ben Simmons saga, because we wouldn't get to see this out of him otherwise.
Well, I think, what was it, game 6 of the NBA Eastern Conference semifinals, where he goes out there and just goes off, has that great game. And now we're getting basically to see that again and again every single night, especially with Joel Embiid being out, Tobias Harris missing time, Matisse Thybulle missing time, Danny Green missing time, Seth Curry missing time. And then, you got all of a sudden Tyrese Maxey is taking over this team.
100%. I love that you brought up last year, because I remember that game like it was yesterday. And that was exactly it. Like, you're listening to the announcers talk about Maxey, how this kid's the real deal, but then you don't know how he's going to come back next year. Sometimes guys just have those games, right? Sometimes guys just have those. Maxey isn't one of the guys who's just having one of those games. I mean, that kid put back-to-back 30-plus points up the other night. I mean, come on. And then he came out slacking and put up like 22 or 24 the next. Come on now, slacker.
Yeah. He was making me sweat. It was the second time I bet his over, and he was making me sweat that time. But we're good. No, we got it. We got 17 and a half. All good. So I'm really impressed with him. And now there's this whole other side to it, which is the unfortunate situation with Ben Simmons. I'm just going to ask you a very general question. How does it end, Serena? How does it end? Does it end with him playing another game for the Sixers, or a handful of them? Or does it just end with him getting traded, never playing for the Sixers again?
My best guess is, and if I was a betting woman, right? Like, I just cannot see how he plays another game for the Sixers organization. I cannot see it. And how it plays out, I mean, obviously, Daryl Morey came out, showed his cards, put it all out there, what he wants. He doesn't want a role player. He wants, an all-star type, franchise type player for Ben Simmons. And I don't know if he's going to get that. I think if it gets traded, it goes till at least January.
Yeah, I say the same thing. It's going to drag on. It's going to drag on.
It's going to drag. And so we're going to be talking about this a lot. And I know it's, the last thing we want to talk about every day, but I don't see this as something that's going to be fixed right away. Mm-hmm. I think we've still got a while. I do not think that he plays another game for the Sixers organization. And it was interesting because the other day, Shams Charania, who really, I should have just like a segment on our Locked On Sixers podcast that's just like Shams Charania segment update on Ben Simmons, because that's basically, where we get all of our news these days.
Right.
But he came out and said that Rich Paul told him that even if Ben Simmons gets traded to another team, that he's not going to play right away. Mm. So then you're hearing that, and then you're kind of thinking to yourself, well, and whether or not that's true, who knows, right? It's an agent playing an agent game. Right. But if it is, and maybe he's just trying to mess with the Sixers some way, I don't know. But that decreases his trade value, doesn't it?
Absolutely it does.
And so if I'm a team that's going to be trading for Ben Simmons, and now you've got the agent coming out and saying, well, he's still not going to be mentally ready to play for that team, even if he gets traded, that's got to decrease his trade value, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because especially if that's only furthering the idea that he's not mentally ready to play the game of basketball. Why would I give you top dollar? Why? I think Rich Paul has really screwed this whole thing up so bad. I think Ben Simmons has screwed this thing up so bad where it's made it next to impossible to trade. If there was mental health issues, and I don't want to go down that avenue of questioning it, but if that was the case, where's that story in August? Instead of having all these other stories leak out about how he just wants to trade, he doesn't want to play with Joel Embiid, he doesn't want to face the Philadelphia fans, it's not up to him to fix his trade value. All those stories that were leaking out for a month and a half, none of them had to do with mental health. If that was something that they were going to, I don't want to say use, but at least put out there, why did they wait so late to do it? That's what seems so odd to me when it surrounds Ben Simmons in the way, and Rich Paul the way that it has.
Yeah, I think for me, the weird part is regarding the mental health aspect is, like, I take mental health very seriously. It is something that I have in my family very seriously. I have family members that have mental health disorders. And so I have a lot of experience with it. And I think what is disheartening to me about this particular situation is really how much focus there has been on the money aspect. Because we're talking about mental health here. Mm-hmm. And if someone is really, really struggling, if someone really has a mental health disorder or a disability and is really, really struggling, I would think that the last thing that should be on your mind is getting fined for not being at practice or a game or whatever the case is. And there has been so much money now, or so much attention now put on this money aspect that, to me, it then takes away from the forward progress that we have made as a society in being more aware of mental health issues, right? Instead, we're reading reports about Simmons being in the back of a film session and him getting, basically a schedule of where he should be that day. If he doesn't want to get fined, so then he shows up in the back of the film session. Well, if you're just showing up not to get fined, I mean, to me, it's like, at this point, who cares about that? If you are really, really struggling, who cares? And by the way, you'll get your money back because the NBA Players Association, they're going to go to bat for you if that's the case, right? So yeah, sure. Why is that what we're talking about? And I think for me, Mark, that's what gets me.
Understood. How good are the Sixers without Ben Simmons? Like, let's say Joel Embiid comes back, Matisse Thybulle, and everyone's healthy and all that stuff. What are the realistic expectations for this 76ers 2021-2022 season?
If there's no trade for Ben Simmons and he's just...
If there's no trade, or let's say you get back not even an all-star player, but somebody that's like a Tobias Harris level player.
Second round of the playoffs, something like that, I'd say. I mean, look, this team is still really good.
Yeah.
If you've got a healthy Joel Embiid, this team is still really, really good. So they're going to make it to the playoffs. But if you can't get something back for Ben Simmons this year, it would be hard for me to say they'd go that far to a place where they want to be. But I could still see him going to the second round.
I could too. I could see them taking a first round series. Absolutely. I do want to ask you about another newcomer real quick, because I know we're short on time, but you mentioned you just could come to Philadelphia and you work your ass off and people will love you. I'm not afraid to say it. I know it's early on in our relationship, but George Niang, I love you. I'm not afraid to say it. I feel like it's totally fine. I can admit that. I freaking love this guy. George Niang, man, gets on the floor, gets dirty, yells at officials, hits threes, embraces the crowd. I was at that game where they played the Bucks. George Niang is telling me to get off my feet. And guess what? You're damn right I got off my feet because George Niang told me to. I'm loving what he's bringing to the table here in Philadelphia.
Well, and you're a family man, right? So wait, do you drive a minivan now?
I don't drive.
No?
I do drive an SUV, but I do not drive a minivan. No.
Okay, well, when that next kid comes,
yeah,
I'm calling you up, and I think you're going to trade in the SUV for a minivan, and then you're really going to be on the George Niang train.
Yeah, right.
You know, just rolling up.
And it's not even like the Jimmy Butler minivan. You know what I'm saying? It's not even like a cool minivan.
No. What do you think the brand of the minivan would be?
For me?
Yeah.
I was a Nissan Quest guy growing up. We had a Nissan Quest. Joe Farzetta, Eleanor. They had a nice Nissan Quest for my brother Michael and I. So that's what we rocked. And I remember we were so blown away when my parents bought the minivan because we could control the radio in the back. I remember there was a headphone jack and there was buttons where you could change the radio station. And my brother and I would fight over that like cats and dogs. And then you could fold down the one seat and have a table for your McDonald's meal. So there you go. That's a Nissan Quest. Yeah.
Tell your guys to get on the next ad sponsors. You know, you got to find maybe a Nissan sponsor, someone with a minivan. You get the minivan, and then you talk about George Niang all day because, like you said, that guy just gets the city of Philadelphia. He just does. Mm-hmm. And he also just happens to be averaging 12 points a game, which is almost double what he was averaging in Utah. And I mean, look, yes, he's been inconsistent. Like he has, right? He'll have a game where he makes 5 threes, and the next game he makes 1, and the next game he goes over, so over a couple games he might be 1 for 7. But he's like a Furkan Korkmaz in that he's not afraid to pull the trigger. And if you drop a play for him, he's going to shoot and he's going to go on heaters. So, I mean, Philly is going to love the guy. They already do. So what else can I say about him? How can you not love the guy?
I might use the word smitten.
Well, you look smitten right now. I think you're blushing too.
These are just my natural cheeks. This is the last thing I want to run by. I'm just going to throw you a couple of names, just excitement level if this is what you end up getting back in return for Ben Simmons. Okay. Dame Lillard.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Okay, that's the easy one. That's the easy one. All right, let's go with his teammate. Lehigh kid, CJ McCollum.
At this point, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm right around there as well.
Yep.
One of the latest names that's come about in all this, Jaylen Brown.
Okay. There's no way they're getting Jaylen Brown.
But all right, let's live in this hypothetical.
So first of all, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. You're getting shooting back for that? Yes. But they're not getting him.
We're excited, but we're never going to have
And when they get him, you're going to replay this on repeat, just over and over. They're not getting him. They're not getting him.
That's Serena Winters. Yeah, listen to that Locked On 76ers
what
podcast.
Does she know?
Yeah, what is that lady? Come on. In all seriousness, Serena, so amazing catching up with you again. Seriously, you know how much I miss you. You do a fantastic job. The podcast is a absolute, I was going to say a home run. Forget it. It's a quadruple double. That's what it is. All right. People can check it out. Make sure you guys check it out. Follow Serena on Twitter, and make sure you guys check out and get this podcast, Locked On Sixers podcast, right there. Locked On Network. You guys can check it out. Follow Serena Winters. Very simple. At Serena Winters.
Pretty easy.
It's just like that. Just like at Marc Barzetta at Serena Winters. Bada boom, bada bing.
That's how
Simple as that.
we got it.
Serena Winters, ladies and gentlemen, check her out. Locked On 76ers podcast. Serena, thank you so much for joining me on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line.
Love it. Love Marc. Love the Farzy Show. Love the Sixers fans. Great being on.
I mean, come on. How do you not just love Serena Winters? She's awesome. She really is. She really is awesome. And I didn't realize it dropped already. So I interviewed her for my show, obviously, and then she interviewed me for Locked On 76ers podcast. So there you go. And both of those were before the Jazz game last night. So, and fortunately they were. Otherwise, they would have been a lot more depressing. So when you guys check out her latest episode, make sure you enjoy the interview that we did for her show as well. So make sure you guys check that out. My thanks to Serena Winters joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. And let me tell you right now, by the way, as it's been for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, like it's always fire. The chat is always fire. But now, over the last week and a half, extra fire. There's been a whole lot of like 22 ounces of fire with a side order of fire with fire on top is basically what it's been over the last week and a half. And before we do our social media check-in and before I even hit these sponsors, I do want to say, welcome back, Dave Schwartz. We missed you, you old bastard. Nice to have you back, buddy. Nice to have you. Glad you're feeling better. Hey, remember the old you? Not you necessarily, Dan Schwartz, but everybody. Remember the old you? The one that didn't have to put up with a fickle knee or a finicky hip or a shoulder that no longer does what a shoulder should do. The Rothman approach to orthopedics is here to get you back to being you, back to running, walking, and working, and playing. Back to running, walking, living your life, basically, the way that you've always wanted to live your life, the way you used to. And with same-day appointments available, you could start today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopaedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not consult BetQL for my Tyrese Maxey pick last night, which was dumb. So that's what you should do. Make sure you consult BetQL to get the advantage over your sportsbook. You need to download the BetQL app right now. Make sure you're making the smart bets. The Best Bets computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports, and they give you the reasoning behind why you should place that bet. Their model covers everything from point spreads, over-unders, player props as well. If you don't want to use the model and prefer to do your own research, BetQL has all the necessary tools for your betting research needs. Everything from sharp data, line movement, team summaries, lineups, injuries, breaking news, and even a leaderboard to help you track your own success. Head to the App Store now or Google Play Store to download the BetQL app. Oh, steak in Maine, in the heart of Northeast Maryland. Whether you like to dine at a casual bar and patio and just relax, or maybe sit in a nice steakhouse. Oh, enjoy a fine steak, 2 pound tomahawk steak. Fine Pinot Noir from Cavada Cellars Wines, from his family to your table. How great is that? You can enjoy fresh seafood and freshly prepared sushi each and every day as they're open every day for lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch as well. Check them out, Steak in Maine, steakinmaine.com, voted #1 place for steaks in America by the Cooking Channel and the Food Channel as well, and the Travel Channel as well. So make sure you guys check them out, steakinmaine.com, for more information. Make sure you say hi to my man, Tony Cavada, as well. Crab dip, did I mention the crab dip? Crab dip's absolutely fantastic. Toasted bread, little that Old Bay seasoning. Great, fantastic. Also, make sure you guys check out the amazing people at WinView. WinView, it's just amazing. Here's the deal. If you're not having really a lot of success, maybe you're in your fantasy football league, maybe your bet's a little off, right? Challenge a friend to a WinView challenge on the WinView app and have a nice WinView contest and see if your friend who thinks they know so much about sports can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. It's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where you can win real money prizes for making predictions against your friends on the games that you love so much. WinView is the only game in town where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who is the bigger sports fan? If you have those friends that think they know everything, challenge them to a WinView contest. Want to break up the monotony of family dinners and get-togethers? Thanksgiving. Wow, Thanksgiving a week from tomorrow. Yeah, what the hell? Anyway, WinView contest is where you can have a lot of fun, break through the monotony of those family get-togethers and dinners. So make sure you download the WinView app right now. Also, PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media, blogs as well. Philadelphia Sports Nation. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Now it's time for a social media check-in brought to you by Steak and Maine at steakandmaine.com. Holy pots and pans, so many things here. Kevin, good morning. Mally, good morning. Dan, welcome back once again. Good morning, everyone. Good to be back. Hopefully, you'd stay up. Hopefully, you didn't stay up for the Sixers. I did stay up for the Sixers. Nice to have you, Dan. Marc got weed water in the mic again. Is this PJ? Is this sounding all right? The mic sounding all right? All right, good. All right. Mally, you got me paranoid about the old microphone there. Morning, Dan. We missed you. That's very nice, April. How are you, April? Oh, Dan, I do want to let you know that I did let everyone new in the chat aware of the chat rules. Rule number 1, you have to hate Mike Sealski. I don't. He's my personal friend. Love the guy. You guys have to hate him. These are the rules. I literally did not make them. You guys did. What was the other thing? Oh, April's last name is pronounced Fuchs. For all the people who don't know the German thing going on there. And I forget the other one. Oh, Emo Marc. We have to address Emo Marc. And I saw some people commenting on my attire throughout the show. But anyway, we'll get to that a little bit later. Let's see. April, thought you got a new mic. I did get a new mic. Are we fixed? Anyway. Yeah, right. We're fine. April spilled the... April, you spilled the bong water again. Let me tell you. So I went to the Sixers game last week against the Bucks with my my buddy Bennett. And, we've been buddies since we were 10 years old. So he does get a kick out of how straight edge he knows I am, but how much of a pothead you guys think I am. It's fantastic. Mally, what's going on? Dan, well, hello again. Mally, April, good to feel better. Sean, good morning. Dan, that's correct. I do have a natural hockey nickname, and one of the first appearances Riley Cote did on the show with me, he acknowledged that as well. It's like, Farzy over here, Farzy. Yeah. And that street hockey tournament I played in, ball hockey tournament, excuse me, that I played in with the Nasty Knuckles guys, where I played for like 8 hours, and my body is not equipped to play 8 hours of hockey. I like, here's my conditioning level. Here's how pathetic I've become. I used to be a fine, serviceable athlete. Serviceable. I use the word serviceable. And I have now gotten to the point where I told you guys I'm doing the demo on the 3rd floor in my house. And when I go into my house, I go up to the 3rd floor. Now when I go up there, I'm like at the top of the steps, and I'm like, that's where I'm at right now. One more time. Anyway, so that's where I'm at in my life. Big old fatty. That's where I'm at right now. Not that kind of fatty. You guys are probably going to make blunt jokes. Anyway, Mr. Snuffy. What's up, Mr. Snuffy? Nice to see you. Mr. Snuffy, good team, but until they find out. Oh, yeah. The Sixers is the way to put it. I agree. Mr. Snuffy, Sixers stink. I detect no lies. They're a good team, but until they find out what they are without Ben Simmons and find out who they are, probably a 5 seed. Hey, man, at this point, I'm just going to take the playoffs. I think they'll be better than a 5 seed, but that's it. All really depends on when that trade happens. Mr. Snuffy, I ask again, why are Gannon's lips so red? He definitely has that Alex Rodriguez kind of thing going on, where he looks like he always has some kind of makeup on. That's kind of the weird thing. Lester, where you been, Lester? Nice to see you. Saying what's up, Farzy. What's up, Lester? Dan Schwartz. The way I feel I could be called the my stuffy stuff never goes away, I guess. Mally, I think Mr. Snuffy is permanent makeup. It's possible. Sean, I thought I was the only one looking at Gannon's lips. You guys are very observant. Mally saying the mic is acting up again this morning. It's got to be the bong water. I think your hypothesis is accurate. Ben, what's going on? Lester, hello again. Julian, what's going on? Sean, fist bumps back at you. Ben says it's a Farzy party. When is it not? Julian, Dan. I just like when you guys shout each other out in the chat. It's awesome. Dan, thanks, Lester. All good. Less infectious than Sealski now. Come on. Marc, Mally, Dan, the OGs. Yeah, April as well. Marc, Miss Stubby. All right, now here's where things went off the rails, people. Mr. Snuffy started it out here. Barnett is more frustrating than trying to spell the word definitely. No, it's definitely. No, it's definitely. And that's with the E's and the I's. I think you all get that. That's actually a what's the name of that show? 30 Rock. The 30 Rock joke. Marc's in here. What's up, Marc? Farzy got rage this morning. When do I know? I have a hidden rage. I really do. I'm a really nice guy. I consider myself to be a really nice guy, but I can do a really good impression of a complete jerk. Like I do a really, really good impression when the buttons are pushed. And you know what? Actually, in our morning rush segment today, as a matter of fact, I have buttons being pushed. I have a thing that I think you're all going to be in agreement. And let me throw it out right now because I just want to see if people are on the same page as I am here. Everyone forgot how to drive, right, during pandemic? Am I the only one observing this? It's always been stressful because I live in the city. It's always been stressful driving around the city just because it's a flipping city, man. It's a city. So it's tough to drive and navigate around when there's potholes and traffic and people that are just looking out for themselves and not checking their blind spot, whatever. Like that's always been a thing. But I've noticed just off the rails, the craziest behavior while driving I've ever seen in my life. Like here's my hypothesis. Everyone forgot how to drive during pandemic because everyone was home all the time. And I'll give you my perfect example. Driving down the street, and there's an intersection around my house where it's 2 lanes going one way. It's 4 lanes, basically. 2 lanes going north, I'll say, and 2 lanes going south. Instead of a guy in a minivan again, turning into, he's making the left-hand turn towards where I am, all right? And instead of him going into what should be his lane, he makes the left into oncoming traffic and is heading right towards me. And he passes me on my right. Wouldn't the bells go off in your head if you're starting to pass a car? Face the other direction that is on what would be his left. So I'm here, and the guy's driving like this. And I'm like honking my horn like, hey, buddy, you noticing anything here there, Columbo? And the person looks at me, and I look at them dead in their black eyes. And I look at them dead, their dead black eyes, the blackest eyes. And they're just looking at me like there's a problem with me. And I go, are you noticing what's going on here? And I look a little closer. And I'm like, did this person steal their parents' car? Because I got a tough time believing this person was 16 or 17 years old. Tough time. That's the baby face, right? And I'm like, let me give them the benefit of the doubt. Sure, they're a licensed driver and it's fine. But the fact that they made the left into oncoming traffic where I was sitting and didn't think anything of it until they were next to me is, I'm leaving out countless times where there's been cars that just don't look. They come right into my lane and they're not in my lane, but into, again, oncoming traffic trying to merge. And it's just more bonkers than it's ever been. So everyone forgot how to drive is my basic point when it comes to all that. Fill in the comments as you see necessary. Barnett is so frustrating to watch. You're right, Mally. Why is Barnett getting snaps anyway? He's a walking penalty flag. Marc, this made me laugh out loud. You're a diamond stud, Fars. Thank you, Marc. Dan, laugh out loud. Marc, so true. Wow, hit you with the Farzetta. Yeah, you know what? People tell me that I should be offended when people just refer to me as my last name, but I find if you just have a unique last name, people will refer to you as that last name, especially if there's like another Marc in the workplace. If there's like a Marc Smith and a Marc Farzetta. Oh, hey, Farzetta. Like my cousins get it too. They get the same thing. They get the Farzetta thing all the time. Serena's got style. You're damn right she does. Mopar, Snuffy, back away from from my girl Serena. Oh boy, we're gonna have a fight. John Cheeseborough, good morning to you as well. Nick Anderson, Serena. Yeah. I'm with Mopar, says Dan, Mr. Snuffy. You guys crushing on Serena. Where's Barnett is a turtle head that you thought was a fart. Very nice, Mally. April, finding that very amusing. Mr. Stuffy, Maxey is a role player right now. Yeah, I'll agree with that with Ben Simmons here. He's a role player coming off the bench, getting points off the bench for you. But right now he's your starting point guard. But I agree with your assessment overall. Barnett is the reason you make that face. You know the one when you have to sneeze and it never comes out. John Cheeseborough, that's a good one. Return of the Schwartz, Matt Schnell says. Mr. Snuffy, Barnett is like a car that in front of you using the blinker after turning. I get what you're saying. The car in front of you that's still using the blinker after they made a turn. Very good. Barnett, my guy wears Barnett is the guy that wears a mask when he's in his car by himself. Ryan, good morning to you. You're not far off. JMC, good morning, Farzy crew. John, hello again. Mopar, Dan, Barnett is the episode of Farzy where you see it Sealski as the guest. Very nice, Dan. That's right on point. Ryan saying good morning. Barnett is Mike Sealski. John, you know what? I've never seen them in the same room together. Actually, I have. But anyway, Mopar, thank you. Barnett is the guy who'd get a snack at the supermarket, eat it while shopping, then pay for it after he ate it. John, you know what? Is that a faux pas? Because I'll tell you something that bothers me, actually, is my wife, if we're at the grocery store and Lil Toots is with us, and, she's a little over 2 now, and she'll, like, open up a thing of crackers and start giving our kid crackers. And I don't know why I hate that so much. I feel like the shoplifter police, the rent-a-cops are going to come out and be like, you stole that cookie, you haven't paid for it yet. You stole that cracker, you haven't paid for it yet. I don't know why. I think that's my mother talking. Do I need to buy a Farzy another shirt? JMC. Oh, yeah, this is the conversation about my shirts. I wear a different shirt every day. I have a whole slew of them hung up right outside the studio. They're all blue. They're all light blue for the most part. But I've noticed in going back and watching episodes, they all look the same. And I'm like, why do I even bother wearing a different shirt? I will say, back in the days where I had to go into an office or something like that, I was a big fan, and I've made references to this before, of Steve Jobs and the decision fatigue. Like wear the same thing every day. I pick out a winter uniform. And it's usually a black sweater and a pair of jeans. I feel like that suffices. Mopar will buy Serena. Wait, what? Mopar. Are you speaking in the third person, Mopar? Mopar will buy Serena a Mopar for choosing. Mopar will buy Serena a Mopar of her choosing. Definitely. Okay. I think I got that. Bring back TJ McConnell? Okay. Morning show uniform. No, it's not a morning show uniform. Farzy in the field for the minivan. Mally, not a bad idea. Dante, what's going on, Dante? Oh, why'd something get deleted from April? Barnett is like listening to Sam Rosen call a game. This is fun. We're all having fun here. Serena is great. You're right. Farzy bringing the heat. Thank you, Don. Oh, Don Vito, what's popping? I do appreciate the chat. Love the chat. Oh, Ryan, you're very kind. Thank you. Barnett's Farzi's eyes are popping this morning. Drink it in, folks. Drink it in. I'm sorry. What the hell? The show is just funny, bro. Just do a comedy show. That's funny. Farzi's fun. Ryan, thank you. What am I going to say to Mac? What the hell's the matter with you? Casting couch in the minivan? Come on, bro. Don't get me wrong. It's not a terrible idea. All right. Anyway. Wait. Mally, I don't drive a minivan yet. Mally came from my last name. Oh, there you go, Mally. Okay, cool. Minivans are for nerdy birds. I'm kidding. PJ forgot how to drive the part. John Lithgow, baby. What? Baby? John Lithgow. Bennett, I hope you're listening to this. Don Vito says, Far's been smoking weed with Bennett since he was 10. Untrue. These are all lies. Serviceable is such a great term. You're damn right it is. Thank you, Mr. Snuffy. Thanks, everybody. Oh, Inside the Birds. What's up, guys? Thanks, everybody. Nobody's telling me whether or not the people who can't drive anymore. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for everyone commenting in the comment section here. Appreciate you guys chatting it up with me here. You guys are awesome and fantastic as per usual. Let's move into our Morning Rush segment brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. Flyers won last night, as I said, 2-1. Carter Hart, 33 saves in the victory. Carter Hart's now allowed just one goal in back-to-back games. Nice to see that. Flyers back in action tomorrow night, 7 p.m. puck drop with the defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. I'll be at the game. I'm going to go to the game. Farzy Show got a credential, folks. We're legit. So I'll be going to that game, looking to interview some fans before the game, just to get some expectations before this before the game. And for the rest of the season. Sixers back at it tomorrow night as well, 9:00 against Denver. So we'll see how that plays out. By the way, Flyers 8-4-2 on the season. Lightning come in 8-3-3 on the year. Philly fanatic. I'm going to be honest with you. So my dad obviously was an athlete. My mom was a huge fan. She was an athlete as well. I always say my dad taught me sports. My mom taught me how to be a fan. And my mom to this day is like in love with the Baltimore Orioles. That's where she grew up. She has a ball signed by the 77 Orioles team that I think was that the team that won the World Series. I know they beat the Phillies in '83. Yeah, my mom was a huge Orioles fan. So anyway, I always say that they taught me how to be, an athlete and then a fan. Athlete, as I said, serviceable. Great job, Mom and Dad. But the Philly fanatic is the most important thing to me in terms of like sports memorabilia. Like this is like when I brought my daughter home from the hospital, I wanted her to have the Philly fanatic like stuffed animal, basically, and she still does in her bed. And that's why I became a huge Phillies fan. And that's why I'll always be a huge Phillies fan, even though baseball kind of sucks right now. But I just love the Philly fanatic. And when I saw 2 years ago when they were changing the Philly fanatic, I was like, well, this is hogwash and poppycock. What the heck? What are we doing here, people? And then finally, yesterday, the ruling came down where the Philly fanatic, the original, after making all these alterations due to a little legal battle going on there, the Phillies get to return to the original Philly fanatic. So, America, all right? We've won, folks. We have won. Phillies fans everywhere, we get the original fanatic back, so we're all really excited about that. Cy Young Award announced tonight, 6 p.m. I don't give a damn. I'm going to say it right now. Zach Wheeler's going to win. I'm going to will it into existence. So what if, like, Corbin Burns had the lowest ERA? Details. So what if Max Scherzer was really good with the Nationals and got traded to the Dodgers and was perfect when he was at the Dodgers? So what? He sucks. Zach Wheeler pitched more innings than the both of them. So by the NBA ruling, I'll go NBA here. By NBA ruling, if you did it more, you're therefore better and more valuable. Therefore, ergo, ipso facto, boom, Zach Wheeler is better than everybody else. So Zach Wheeler wins the Cy Young Award. That gets announced tonight at 6 o'clock. And then tomorrow, Michael Jack Schmidt. It gets announced that Michael Jack Schmidt is going to award the NL MVP award. Bryce Harper, right? We can read into that. If Mike Schmidt's doing it, it's going to be Bryce Harper, right? Right? Yeah, I think that pretty much ends that debate right there. And also, I believe it's the first time ever if Zach Wheeler wins and Bryce Harper wins, it'll be the first time ever a Cy Young Award winner and a MVP award winner were on the same team that didn't make the playoffs. So let's get to work there, Dave Dombrowski. Let's get to work. And that does it for our Morning Rush segment brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. Oh, no, I have to mention this. Gabe Kapler won NL Manager of the Year because, of course, he did. Best record in baseball. Go figure. Word Farzy Show. Just want to say, not being censored other than that. Maybe we need crowdfunders. Obviously, Farzi's papa was an athlete. Yeah, my dad, when we would play catch, every once in a while, or have a catch, every once in a while, I'd be like, Dad, throw the curveball. And this is a sad moment. I said, Dad, throw the curveball. I must have been about 17, 18 at the time. We're out in the backyard having a catch. And my dad throws a curveball, and my dad's elbow made a popping sound. And he goes, whoosh, oh! And he's like, all right, we're done. And it was that day I realized as a young 17-year-old boy that my father was not Superman. I know a lot of people realize that a lot sooner. But that was the first one. My dad trying to throw a curveball. Well, he threw a curveball. The ball did curve. I almost missed it because I was so distracted by the, oh, God! But then my dad called Rothman Orthopaedics, and now he's back to being him. Ha! Ha! It's called Italian, folks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, everybody. Much appreciated. Thanks to Serena Winters for being a guest on today's show. Also, check out her podcast where I'm a guest. So if you really like me, there's more of me on it. Here's a little teaser for you. I talk about a trip to Peru and the Sixers, mostly Sixers, but we also talk about a trip to Peru. Play a fun little game as well, so make sure you guys check that out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My thanks to Jim Hyder, produced the program, did a phenomenal job as per usual. This is a Bless Sports and Entertainment production. Thanks so much. We'll be back with you guys talking some more Eagles football tomorrow on Thursday's show. So have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.